Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden, and today we're going to be starting petunia seeds. And yes, we are starting petunias in November. Okay, so petunias are a main staple for my garden in the spring. I love tucking them into any particular bare areas that I might have, especially in the front and side gardens. I've grown them in a wide variety of colors. I've grown quite a few varieties, including the wave petunias and super petunias, and I love all of them and I always enjoy petunias. With that being said, because my garden has been expanding, it takes a whole lot more money to purchase enough petunias for my front and side yard. So I've been doing some research and I've decided I'm going to give it a go growing petunias from seed. Now last year I did kind of a precursor to try it out, and I tried a couple of varieties and they did absolutely beautiful, and they're very unusual and different from anything else I've ever seen in a plant nursery. I've learned a lot about petunia seeds as I've been researching. One of the big things is it takes a good 10 to 12 weeks for them to begin flowering. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to have a big giant plant in 10 to 12 weeks. You potentially could have one tiny little plant with one bloom on it in 10 to 12 weeks. So it takes petunias quite a while to get going as a plant. With that in consideration, I'm going to go ahead and start my petunia seeds now. And keeping that in mind, it's the end of November, so I should be able to get to the end of December, end of January, end of February would be my 3 months, and then about 2 weeks after the end of February, about mid-March, is when I have the last frost in my area, so that would be about the time that I'm planting them out. So basically my plan is to go ahead and start them by seed, start them in small seed containers, pot them up as they get larger and continue to get bigger under my grow lights inside, and once we start having sunny days in February, and we do have sunny days in February and into March, I'm going to start moving them outside and allowing them to have more and more sunshine, and then bringing them in anytime that we have a chance of frost or freeze. Okay, so let's talk about where I got these petunia seeds. So I've actually ordered from a couple of different places before. This particular ones that I'm growing this year, I ordered from Swallowtail Gardens, and I'll put that link down in the video description. So it's Swallowtail Garden Seeds. I ordered some varieties from them, and they had an incredible amount of petunias to look at, so I highly suggest you check them out. I also, last year, I ordered mine from Baker Creek, and I got 2 varieties of petunias from them, both of which did really well. And then finally, I do have some petunias that are just from the dollar store. So Dollar Tree petunias, it's like 4 packs for $1 or something like that. These are older seeds, so I don't know how great their germination is going to be, but we're going to give them a try as well. So I want to talk a little bit about the containers I'm going to be utilizing. I have 2 sets of containers that I love. My first one are my Vigo containers. So it's an open green container. It has slits on the side and a hole in the bottom, so it's easy to punch out the seedling. It has a domed top, which works really, really well. It does not come with a tray. You have to buy that separately. And basically, I'm going to put that in I'll put this in my own seed tray and allow the water to soak up from there. I find these really good for seedlings that I'm wanting to grow on, seedlings that have very robust root systems. Like I really liked these with straw flower, which had crazy robust root systems. I didn't like them as much with Lisianthus because I didn't feel like the Lisianthus filled this system as much. Okay, and then these are the lids that go on top of the Vigo trays. Okay, now I also like to use some trays that I got on Amazon, and they are linked down in my Amazon storefront. And basically it comes with your little basic tray. It comes with a set of 12 seed cells that go in it, and it comes with a lid. Just like that. Very simple, very cost effective, and they've been very hardy so far. Now you might be asking why I don't use the big giant seed cell trays where you have like 72. I don't grow enough of any one seed to warrant a 72 cell tray having all the same conditions, like all the same humidity, environmental conditions. So what I prefer to do is I prefer to grow in smaller trays, because each variety of seeds is going to have its own light requirements, moisture requirements, depth requirements, humidity requirements. Everybody's got their own thing going. And so since I'm a small home gardener, I work with smaller trays because that allows me to control the environment for each of the seeds easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Vigo for some of the specialty ones, and then I'm going to use, for the Dollar Tree ones, I'm going to go with my Amazon ones, only because I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of these. Now, so the Vigo containers, they're all easy, the Vigo and the Amazon, they're very easy to go ahead and fill. I am just using my favorite potting soil mix called BM7. I pick it up in Farmersville, Texas. You can get about 3 cubic feet for about $18. And I'm always very happy. I think it works really well for seed mix as well as potting mix. And so I'm basically just filling my tray and then lightly pushing down, no big deal. Very simply done like that. So let's get those knocked out. Okay, so I've got all my seed containers filled up. Basically, I put the soil in, I lightly pack it down, and then I put another layer on top. I start with dry soil, and then I place all my seeds, and then I allow the container to wick up moisture from below. You don't have to do it that way. Most people do it by starting with wet soil. I like the process with the dry soil better. It works better for my head. It makes more sense. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the 2 varieties I did last year. The first variety is called Super Bisma Sirenese Triumph Mix, and this one was beautiful. I'll try to put some pictures of how mine looked. It's lavender, plum, purple, and ivory tones. The blooms were giant and heavily ruffled. Absolutely beautiful, and the plant ended up growing like 24, 30 inches. It was absolutely beautiful. I had some hanging plants. And the other variety is called Lace Veil. And this one was really, really nice, although I like the Triumph Mix better. It was a very frilly, frazzled edge, lacy edge. Very cool, large, beautiful white blooms, and then they did trail over the side of the hanging basket really, really well. So basically, when you're starting with petunias, the seeds are super tiny. Most likely, when you get them, they will have been pelleted, meaning they're going to have like a coating on the outside of them because they are so tiny. Sometimes they're not going to be. So these right here actually look like pure dust. And which is awesome. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these things that look like pure dust and I'm just going to lightly drop them on to the surface. Petunia seeds are surface sown and they need light to germinate. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 containers of the Super Bisma. All right, so I've got a few more seeds left. I'm going to leave those in there in case I want to start another round in a couple of weeks or so if this goes really well. And so all I've done is just lightly put those onto the top of the soil. Now you can go back and kind of gently push them to make contact. Just make sure you're checking to make sure you're not picking up the actual seed. And because these are so tiny and I have a fan on in here, I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on them so that nothing blows away. And we'll go ahead and once I get all the containers filled up, then I'll show you what I do with them in their actual little, where I actually add water. Okay, the next varieties were purchased from Swallowtail Gardens, and there were a lot to choose from. So if you're going to look, I suggest definitely don't do it in a hurry. Take your time. We have lots of time. The first one is called Shockwave Purple Tie-Dye Petunia, and this is a bright white 1.5 to 2 inch flowers with strikingly variable bright purple slashes and spots. Self-cleaning blooms cover the 7 to 10 inch tall by 30 to 36 inch wide plant. Wide plants from mid-spring until early autumn. Low maintenance trailing petunias demonstrate high tolerance to heat, humidity, and rain. And the packet is only for 10 pelleted seeds. And pelleted are the ones that are going to be covered because these, like I said, are like dust. And if this goes well, I'd really like to get some and start some more and like start them in like May maybe, and have fall petunias. I think would be so fun to do. So there's definitely extra seeds. So I think there's about 3 extras. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them in. And then just going to gently press them, make sure they have good contact. Okay, the next variety is called Opera Supreme Lilac Ice, and this one is known for trailing. It grows about 6 to 10 inches tall, but it is 3.5 to 4 feet across. So that's why it gets the really dramatic trailing. Extremely heavy blooming, the lilac and silvery white bicolor flowers cover plants all summer, and this is 10 pelleted seeds as well. And the last variety from a Swallowtail Garden is Shockwave Deep Purple. And this is heavy, early flowering plants cloak themselves in dazzling, self-cleaning 1.5 to 2 inch vibrant, dark, rosy purple blooms. The 7 to 10 inch tall by 30 to 36 inch wide plants tolerate heat, humidity, and rain. And this is also 10 pelleted seeds. Okay, I dropped that one, putting it up. Crap. Okay, let's try the final ones, and these are the ones from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put more than 1 seed in each just because these are older seeds, and I want to make sure. I'm going to guess that germination rate is not going to be great because they're older seeds. Oh my gosh, there's a ton in here though. Well, that's great. I mean, there must be hundreds of seeds in here. So I'm going to put a little sprinkle of each, and I'll just go ahead and do a ton of these, and then if they work out great, then I'll have a ton of seeds a ton of plants that I can use on my house, but I can also use at my mom's and my mother-in-law's, which would be cool. Okay, and then I've got 2 Vigos over here. I'll go ahead and just do one because I have room in one of my trays. Okay, there were a lot of seeds in the dollar store one. So if these seeds come to fruition, I'm gonna have a lot to deal with. And so basically each of these will go into a green container, and I fill them up with water. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay. Floss seeds. So if this one comes to fruition, I have 24. I will have over 100 plants if the Dollar Tree ones end up working out well. I filled each of the containers with water, made sure the humidity domes are closed to stay nice and moist until they have sprouted. Once they have sprouted, you can remove the humidity domes so that the plants don't have dampening off or suffer from any kind of fungal disease because it was too wet. Okay, so these like to be kept at about 70 to 75 degrees, and my house is kept at about 70 to 72. So I'm going to go ahead and not put these on a heat mat. If for some reason I feel like I don't see anything in the next few days, I can definitely always add a heat mat as needed. It takes 7 to 21 days for germination. That's a wide range. My guess is that if I had all of these on heat mats, that they would germinate quicker. My guess is that since I'm not doing that, it's going to take them a little bit longer. Maybe we'll experiment, and why don't we, because the Dollar Tree ones are older and they might be a little bit harder to germinate, why don't we do the Dollar Tree ones on a heat mat? Okay, I'm going to do both on a heat mat. Let's do both on a heat mat. So I'll do these on a heat mat and these on a heat mat. I think that'll work good because then even in the evenings, our heater does go off in the evenings and it gets down to like 67, 68. So I'll go ahead and do a heat mat. I think that might be best. They are going to be under grow lights. They need to be under grow lights minimum 12 hours. Mine go for 14 hours a day. And that's for the best amount of germination. Once these start sprouting, like I said, we'll take all the humidity domes off. I'll keep a close eye on them and pay attention to when they need to be potted up, which is moved into larger containers. When these have to be moved into larger containers, they are going to take up a lot of space. So most likely, if I have like a 3.5 inch or 4 inch little pot, I'll probably put 2 to 3 in each container and then eventually do one final potting up before the spring. I might have to set up some additional grow lights as well, depending on how well these do. But if these end up going really well, I'm not going to complain about setting up more grow lights. I'll be thrilled if I can grow petunias. With them being such a big staple in my garden, I think it's fun to explore some new varieties, but saving money, and I enjoy this. And this is something that I can do during the winter, which is even better, right? Because I don't have as much gardening going on. But if this ends up working out, this could be really, really fun. Like I said, I think I'm also going to go and specifically swallowtail garden seeds. I'm going to go on there and check, and I'm going to look at some fall tones that would be really fun to start maybe in like a May. If I started them at the end of May, I'd have June, July, August, September. Maybe I'll start them mid-May. That'd be really hard because it's in the throes of the growing season. But yeah, if I started some then of fall tones, then I would have them ready come end of August into September, which would be a really fun time to start putting out larger scale fall colored petunias. I've never bought many of the fall colored petunias because they don't last very long, and it's a pretty price tag. And so this might be really fun. So I would really love to know which of you all has grown petunias from seed. Like I said, this is my second year doing this, and the first year was very successful. I would love to know which petunias you're growing from seed, what varieties, and where you are getting them from. And if you have any tips, my major tips are keeping them moist with the humidity dome. Do not allow them to dry out until they sprout, or even after they sprout. Have them under grow lights a minimum of 12 hours a day. You need to have them at a temperature between 70 and 75 degrees for germination. And those are my basic ones to start off with. Once we kind of get going on these seedlings, I don't mind putting them in a cart and bringing them out into the sunshine, whenever we have warmer temps, because it is Texas, so it's either freezing during the winter or it's like 75 degrees. So I have no problem bringing them out and getting sun when they can. I think would be really fine. The rest of the time they're going to be under the grow lights. All right, you all, I hope you enjoyed today's video, venturing out into starting petunias from seed. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know my latest videos are up. And be sure to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.